I'd like to welcome to the Metal Shop 101, the king of the low end, the one, the only, Billy Sheehan. How you doing, Billy?
How kind of you to say that about me. I'll try to live up to that.
Let's go back a little ways to Talas. I mean, playing in and out of clubs in Buffalo, out there in the trenches, I mean, you guys are pretty historic as far as that goes.
Thousands of gigs, literally. One time we did 21 nights in a row.
Wow.
One day we did 3 full shows in one day. We played at noon downtown Buffalo at the One M&T Plaza for the people down there on their lunch break. Then we went to Niagara Falls to play for a Buffalo Bills exhibition game after the game. Then we left that show and went to the Club Lakewood in Niagara Falls and played until about 2 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So that was a long day.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's all about. I mean, some of these upcoming bands, they rely to get discovered. They rely too much on the internet and stuff anymore. But with you being down in the trenches and performing 3 gigs in one day, I mean,
well, that's how it was done back then, and there aren't the same amount of clubs now as there were back then. We within an hour's drive, there were 200 or 300 clubs from Buffalo easily.
Right.
I mean, also we're close to Toronto and close to Erie, Pennsylvania, and Cleveland, and New York City, and Boston. So it was easy for us to get constant gigs. And I cherished the fact that I had that opportunity because it was the best way to learn how to get up on deck, on stage, and deliver the goods, because you did it every single night.
Right.
So nowadays, I feel for the younger players, there isn't the same opportunity, but when you put that camera on YouTube, you can fake it. There's lots of ways to fake it, but a lot of guys do it for real. So when you put that camera on, hit record, you gotta get it right. So that's to some degree that's a good thing. And also the times change, man. Things are different.
Yeah.
I know older folks when I was young were saying, "Oh, that's not music. That's not how it's done." And now we're saying, "Oh, that's not music. That's not how it's done."
Right.
So I don't want to have history repeat itself. So I do give credit to a lot of great new players out there. I wish they had the opportunities we had back then, because I do believe that live performance, talking with the audience every night. We get done. We play a lot of places didn't have a dressing room, so we get done, and the stage is only this high.
Right.
We step off the stage and sit down and hang out with everybody in the club. Then look up at the clock, time for set number 2. So we were connected to the audience, and sadly, I think it's more difficult for people these days. Not impossible, but more difficult. So I feel for the next generation, or the current generation rather, that they don't have the same opportunities, but I'm hoping they can rise above it, because there's some supreme talent out there.
Right.
We shall see.
Well, that's one of the things. I mean, the bands need to interact with the fans. I mean, if they're coming to see you, don't run back to the dressing room right away. And I'm noticing a lot of bands are starting to get in with the crowd and talk with the crowd and stuff like that.
We do that all the time.
Right.
We played in Germany in the wintertime, and it's raining outside. I go outside, and you got to be careful with the Sharpie. You got to lean over it, because if a raindrop hits that tip, it's no good. It won't work anymore.
Right.
So Wes sat out there with many times with hundreds of fans and just signed everything. My last show we did in Japan, outside the hotel, there was about 1,000 kids lined up.
Oh, wow.
I stayed the whole time, signed everything, said hello, shook every hand, took every photo, and everything I own, everything I have under the sun, moon, and stars comes from a fan buying a T-shirt or a ticket or some kind of recording.
Right.
And so for me, it's not everybody feels that way. It's fair. Once you play on a record and do your show, they paid to get in, they got the show, we're even.
Right.
You bought the record, you got the music, we're even. You don't owe anyone anymore. It's a fair exchange. People sometimes get to, I bought your record, so you got it. No way, you bought the record, you got the record. We're even. We didn't like the deal, then don't buy the record.
Right.
Myself personally, However, I prefer, and it's the way I happen to run my life, to go out and give extra, give more.
Right.
Now, but it's not a duty. And I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I want to. I think it's an important point because a lot of fans sometimes get pissy about it that, well, I bought a ticket to get in, so therefore you owe me. No, you got the show. We're even.
Right.
But in my mind, in my heart, yeah, you bought a ticket to get in. I appreciate it. You could have gone somewhere else. So I'm going to come out and say hi and take a photo and sign whatever you want and tell you whatever I can tell you that you might need to know. That happens with I do. But I don't want other musicians to feel that they're forced into owing something that they don't owe. If it's in your heart and you want to do it, cool. If it's not, then I still love your band. I still love your music.
Right. Right. Who were some of your inspirations that got you into playing bass?
Joe Hesse lived around the corner. He was in a local band called the Rockin' Paramounts. And I watched them transition from pre-Beatles to post-Beatles because they were dressed in Brill Cream, bands, that did the twists. It was pre-Beatles, before the Beatles happened, Jerry Lee Lewis, people like that. And then the Beatles came out, and then they washed all the Brill Cream out of their hair, changed their shoes, and became Beatle-esque. And it was an interesting change from one style to another. It's happened recently when grunge came out and a lot of the other music that was present at the time kind of went away. And then hip-hop came around and pushed grunge out of the way. It happens all the time. But it was during that time period that I got involved in bass. And luckily, being in the edge of one type of music to the other, I like them both. I like Joey D and the Starlighters, but I also love the Beatles and the Stones and Hendrix. So it was a good thing. And back then, the radio, as you may know, played all kinds of styles.
Right.
Now they specialize in one thing. They're marketing people, and they want to sell ads just to these people. So let's play just this music. Where before, DJs ran the biz, and they chose music they liked, and they played the stuff they liked, and it wasn't about being paid and payola and all the stuff like that. So we were lucky to come up at a time where all kinds of music was played on the radio, broad spectrum, all kinds of bands. And so as a result, I'm pleased what it did for me as a player, because I can generally, I've been recording a lot out of my home the last couple of years, and we've done everything from real hardcore country and bluegrass to pop and prog and death metal and everything else. So growing up like that helped me to be able to jump over those fences occasionally.
Who was one of your favorites growing up, as far as band-wise?
Well, Hendrix was my first concert. So that was when, as I was beginning to grow and learn bass and learn music and love music, I loved a lot of the Yardbirds and the Stones. The Beatles, of course, were everybody was influenced by them, whether they knew it or not. But Hendrix was a big deal to me, and it was a transitional point in my life when I went to see him play. I said, man, the world looked different the next day. So, but then again, I got into when the horn bands first came out, Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I was into that. Three Dog Night, a lot of singing, the bands that sang, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Three Dog Night, you name it, harmony bands. So, and we were playing live, so we had to play hits. We were playing in a cover band. Almost every band that became famous back in the day, and even in more recent history, they all played the cover bands. I just saw footage of Bon Scott in a cover band before when he was very young. Everybody did. And that was your training, like we talked at the beginning of this conversation. That was your training. You were in clubs playing copy tunes. The Beatles copy tunes. Half of their first record, Please Mr. Postman, A Taste of Honey, all the songs were A Twist and Shout. They were all copy tunes. And then they became arguably some of the best writers in pop music history. So that having that as a training ground, again, I'd hate to keep blowing this horn, but having that as a training ground was very helpful to a lot of bands, a lot of musicians.
Right. Now, you done stuff with David Lee Roth. I mean, you did the Eat 'em and Smile days with Steve Vai. I mean, when you first got in with David Lee Roth, I mean, did you know instantly that you were creating something that would change the standard in musicianship?
No, we were just trying to write music we loved that we thought would be cool to play. We didn't have any grand scheme. I don't think anybody ever really does. It happens or
Right.
it doesn't happen. I've been, when we did the second Mr. Big record that had the To Be With You #1 hit on it, we put it last on the record.
Right.
Just as kind of the goodbye song. Hey, well, as the credits are rolling in the movie theater, that song's playing. We loved the song, but we never thought it was going to be a hit. We loved all the songs on that record. We had uh, uh, positive point of view on all of them, but you never know. I've had record companies. People say, "Oh, I know when I hear when I hear a song, I know if it's a hit." No, you don't. If you did, you'd be a trillionaire.
Right. Exactly.
You just don't. Nobody does. How's the public feeling that day? How much is it going to be played? I know amazing, great songs and great albums by amazing bands that never went anywhere.
Right.
That you never heard of, that I love completely and think is the greatest stuff ever
Right.
done. So, and I know horrible bands that are awful, and I just don't like their stuff at all. I wouldn't name them. I don't want to be a mean guy, but and they're huge,
Right.
fantastic.
Right.
God bless them. Good for them.
Right.
It's hard to tell.
I see you got your bass in your hand. You're always practicing, always playing.
Almost always, I do. I get up in the morning, feed the cats, and sit down for a couple of hours and do hard practicing. And I find things that I can't do or I don't know or things that I'm weak in. I just pound and pound and pound and pound. And after about an hour and a half, things start to open up and
Right.
become better. And then the next day I take from where I left off the day before and keep going. There's really no limit to how good you can get at anything, really.
Right.
And good doesn't mean faster or more licks necessarily. It could be a lot of things. And so I work hard on just playing.
Right.
I have that down to a science? Not yet. I'm getting there, but
Right.
there's always more you can learn about it. It's very
Practice
cool.
makes perfect.
Yeah. And that's why you keep practicing, because you'll never be perfect.
Right. Well, let's talk about your recent project with Cactus and Carmine, the Temple of the Blues too. I mean, you laid down some crazy bass lines on Backdoor Man. I mean, I love that song.
I recorded the song and sent it back to them. And they called me and said, no, we need more. We need to go wilder. And usually when I play for a client, I ask them, okay, I'll come in underneath everything, or I'll go somewhere in the middle, or I'll do some stuff, do a lot of stuff, or I'll send you two versions, and you can cut pieces that are a little bit more aggressive out of the first one and put them in the second. 'Cause you do editing like that in music, because I don't want to. It's not my thing necessarily to play all over the place. I play and To Be With You.
Right.
That's how the bass goes. I'm not doing any nonsense in there. So I sent them back what I thought they might want, because it's kind of a bluesy tune. Plus, Eric Gales was killing on it. He's so great.
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, what a genius. And I love Carmine's playing. And so I just kind of stuck with Carmine. Whatever Carmine did, I've shadowed him
Right.
for the first version. But says, no, you do more. So I still continue to shadow him, weave in and out of what Eric's doing, and but held it together, follow those bass drums.
Right.
The first thing you asked me what was my inspiration to play bass, and I said Joe Hesse before. First time he let me in his house, because I was a little kid. They let my older brothers and sisters watch him practice, but I'm an annoying little kid, so I had to sit in the driveway and listen. One day I said, Joe, can I come in? He goes, yeah, I guess. And he's practicing, and it's just him and the drummer.
Right.
And I didn't get it. Joe, how come it's just you and the drummer? Where are the rest of the guys? Well, I got to learn how to play exactly what the drummer plays. So when he hits a bass drum with his foot,
Right.
I got to play exactly what he plays. So before I even owned a bass, that's what I knew about bass. You got to play with the drummer plays. So one of my favorite records of all time, one of the biggest influences in my life, is the first Vanilla Fudge record, and Carmine playing drums on that. And Tim Bogert, one of my biggest influences ever, playing with Carmine. That's what I learned. I listened to what those two did and how they locked it together. And that was so important to me. So to play on a record now with Carmine is such a great honor because he's so great.
Right.
But and such a hero to me. But I'm used to his playing because I listened to that record 10,000 times, and so many other things he's recorded too. So for me to lock into what Carmine's doing, it isn't that hard because I just know him. And a lot of drummers sometimes they get lucky within the first 5 or 10 minutes we're locked together. Some guys takes a little bit longer. But I learned early on that it's all about the drums. You play with drums.
Right.
Now, of course, there's some insane lunatic soloing that you may hate or not. But that's the whole reason that started is because we were in a bar band in Talas in the early days, and those guys wanted to take a break and go get a beer and talk to some girls, so I started doing unaccompanied solo, and it became a thing, and then it worked its way into my playing. But that wasn't the whole purpose of it in the first place, was to give them time to go talk to those two hot girls that came in, So it was a funny thing. But yeah, playing with Carmine was such a joy. So like I said, they asked me to do more. So I sent them a second take with more in there. And they were pleased with it. So so we got to play live.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, so I didn't know a lot about Eric Gales. I just knew that he was, his reputation was stellar, was golden, and he was such a great player. Heard snippets of him here and there, but I've never seen a performance of him until soundcheck. And in soundcheck, I'm going, holy cow, this guy's. We had a riot playing together. He had this one line in the thing. He said, "Billy, you got to do this." And I was hoping that I'd be able to cop it with him and harmonize with it. So he showed me what it was, and by luck, my memory was working really well that day, and I got it. So when we were playing the show, that line came. I looked over at him, he looked at me, and we nailed it just right there.
Nice.
It was such a joy to play. What a great guy too! It sings his ass off. He's so great.
Yeah.
So that was on the record, and I'm pleased with the way that came out.
Right, and then there's a bonus track on that album too, "Temple of the Blues," that you're on, isn't there?
I think so.
Yeah.
It may sound funny to people. It may sound funny to people that I don't know, like what's on a record that I played on. But you have to understand, once you play your part, there's about 3 months that go by, and a lot of things change, a lot of added and subtracted. So I don't always know exactly what's on any record I play. So I apologize for my ignorance on that. But yeah, sometimes they did some changes and added. What song is the bonus track? You see it there?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Feels So Good.
Yeah, I think that is.
Yeah.
I forgot how it goes, Bill. After 60 some years, over 60 years of playing, I don't remember every detail, but I remember a lot, surprisingly.
Well, it's a cool video for that song too.
I'm not in the AI thing, but they said, "Hey, we're going to take your image and do it." And I was a homeless guy in the movie. But I thought it was cool, and I understand because, unfortunately, in music, all the music is real. We played all that. That was all the real deal, no problem. There was no trickery or fakery or anything like that. We played what's on there. The video is AI. I've seen some comments from people, AI is terrible, we hate it. And I understand, because it's especially for an actor or actress, we can, they can imitate them with a computer, and it's almost it's almost impossible to tell the difference between a real person.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it's going to fade out eventually, though. There's a lot of things that came along that we thought it's going to just ruin everything, and then it faded out. So I love to see real people, and I love real music. But, of course, AI can create music on its own.
Right. What's your thought on that?
I don't like it at all, because Well, you can have a computer just paint paintings for you, and a
Right.
computer design your clothing and design homes and cars, and I don't know. I just prefer humans for things like that. That's just what I like. And and the part music takes in people's lives when a young kid, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years old, sits at a piano and starts to understand and learn and pours his heart on it. By the time they're 12, they're a pretty good player. By the time they're 14, they're amazing. And you see them live the rest of their lives just creating a just beautiful career, playing classical piano or guitar or singing, whatever. That's a beautiful, incredible journey. And I hate to see that taken away from the next generation.
Right. Well, my thing is AI music. There's no human connection there. It was created by a machine. There's no human connection.
But they can fake it so good that it's almost impossible to tell.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just like they can, you can go into Chat GT or whatever the fuck it is, GPT, GTP. Sorry.
Right.
The old man doesn't even know about it. No, I know it. Can okay, write a story for me, and it'll write this amazing. Oh, that's amazing, but it was there. So we're going to come to an impasse at some point. And I was an early adopter of all things digital when it comes to recording. It's recording the tape was cool, but it was not always easy. It was precarious sometimes. You accidentally do something, you lose a part, it's gone forever.
Right.
So when digital recording came about, now it equalizes the playing field. If you have a laptop or even an iPad or even an iPhone, you can record a great sounding record. It's amazing. You don't need $100,000 in a studio and great players. You can record a great record, and if you do it for real, I think it's as legitimate as anything else. So, whatever. Wherever you want to take it from there.
All right, Billy. I got a couple more questions for you, and I'll let you go.
Sure thing.
What kind of advice could you give a up-and-coming bass player?
Learn songs. Well, there's three things that are almost universal when it comes to the music biz and careers and success. Play in a band.
Right.
Get a band. And get a band with people you can stick with for a while. Play in a band with songs. You have songs. You need songs to play. Noodling and soloing all day and jamming, maybe. But
right.
Who are the most successful bands in the world? Bands that had songs. And bands that had songs that number 3, sing. Be in a band with songs that you sing. Okay, let's go down the list. The Beatles, the Stones, AC/DC, Van Halen, Judas Priest. All were bands with songs that you could sing.
Right.
And that would be that's the best thing. Now, it could be any style in the world, from the most hellacious, screaming, shouting punk, metal, death metal, to acoustic harmonies, whatever. But they're in a band, group of people work together, work with each other. One guy backs up the other with songs, recognizable pieces of music that have a thing to them. Because when I grew up, there's a lot of instrumental hits, a lot of songs that were instrumentals that were hits. They're on charts that were number one. But the songs that you sang, songs with lyrics that you sing, were massive.
Right.
And ratio of instrumental songs to vocal songs is insane. I mean, it's like 2% of hits were instrumentals. Oh, less than that, actually, even by now, because there haven't been many recently.
Right.
But songs that you sing, it's and you learn so much as a player. And people will come to me and say, "Hey, I know this amazing guitar player." "Oh, really? Tell me about him." "Oh, he's the most amazing guy ever. He can play anything. He can play so amazing, incredible. His solos are monsters, and he knows every chord. His tone is." I go, "Oh, that's pretty." "Does he sing?" "No." "I'm good."
Right.
And almost every guy in every band I've in, you got to think, we need harmony. Let's do 3-part harmony. Mr. Big, we had myself, Paul Gilbert, and Ben Torpey doing the harmonies behind the singer, and we could do all kinds of stuff as a result.
Right.
Really popped us into a whole other category of success, which
Right.
we're very grateful for.
So
that would be my advice.
right. Okay. So what's next for Billy Sheehan? Any projects in the works?
Yeah, a ton of things. We're going to do some gigs with The Fell. It's a band I have with a wonderful singer, Toby Rad from Australia. Great songs. Most bands I've put together by players. Hey, I got a great drummer. Here's a great guitar player. Let's go. This band was put together behind songs. I got to... the guitarist who started the band, Mike Krampus, he called me when I lived in L.A. I didn't even know him. He just found me on Facebook. Hey, would you come on down and play bass on some tracks? Man, sure. So I drove down there, and I'm learning these songs and playing bass on them. These songs are great. Who are these guys? I said, who's this singer? He goes, it's Toby Rand. Oh, wow, he sings his ass off. So great. So at the end of the session, he goes, well, I can pay you for the session, or if you'd rather get involved and be a part of this, I said, I'm in. That's cool. So we had a little waiting period while some contracts had to run out and various business things got squared away. But now we're performing live, and we put out an EP, and we're going to extend that with the rest of the record soon. We're going out. We're going to do some West Coast shows, some shows in the UK, and then more and more and more.
Right.
I've posted a lot of the songs and snippets of the songs on my social media, and they're available on Spotify now too. Pardon me. So you can listen to us on there. And then we had some great news that to fix a little bit of our broken hearts by the loss of our singer from Talas, Mr. We lost him soon after we did our last record. And it was quite devastating. And just recently we found out that his son, James, who was an amazing singer and a wonderful young man, is going to come and sing his dad's parts and more.
Cool.
And so we're going to be able to do some Talas shows coming up next year. Very excited about that. That's going to be a riot. So also I'm going to do get up and play with the Buddy Rich Band, I think in October or November. That should be cool. I'm playing with some Brazilian musicians pretty soon. And then there's another surprise coming that I can't talk about yet.
Okay, cool. Sounds like you got the rest of the year booked up here.
I sure do. There's no spare time for anything. So, am I behind on my email? My inbox has about 34,000, literally. 34,000. Now, a lot of them are doubles I don't have to answer.
Right.
There's easily 4,000 or 5,000 unanswered emails there. So if you've written to me by email, please be patient. And I run all my social media myself, so I answer every message and click a like or a heart on every comment and respond to everybody all the time. And that is a Herculean task. Is quite, but I enjoy doing it because there's as bad as the internet can be sometime, and as horrible and awful as a small amount of people are, mostly some great people that I'm friends with online, and they've been so kind to me.
Right.
And it's a wonderful thing. So,
all right, Billy. Thanks for taking the time out. It's been an absolute honor to have you on the show. And
it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And be sure to send me a link when this is done. I can share it around to my friends.
I will. And looking forward to hearing some of that new music you got coming, especially that Top Secret.
Beautiful. I hope you enjoy it. And again, thanks so much for having me.
Very welcome.